Now if you have already installed and update your library, the Arduino, the liquid crystal I2C library, so let's move on to this Arduino IDE, and we will start to code our program. So as I shown in the scanning program before, which we need this include this library here, hash include to include library, which the wire.h library. So this is for the I2C module library. Yeah, so here by using this wire.h, now it knows that how to communicate with the device using the I2C module. Now we have the second thing is the hash include liquid crystal underscore I2C.h. So that's it. Liquid crystal underscore I2C.h. For those who don't use the I2C, you just include liquid crystal.h. So I will show a little bit later on how the difference between the I2C module, I2C LCD, and the normal LCD. But before that, you need to bear with me for this I2C coding here. Then after we include these two, we need to tell our hardware what kind of LCD that we use, and also our address, the I2C module address that we use. So here we just use liquid crystal I2C, which is LCD. Our LCD is at the address that I've got before is 0x27. This is depending on your address. If your address is different, then you change it here. And then it is the type of 16 times 2, 16 column with 2 rows, 16 columns with 2 rows. So this is the example here. So this is our LCD with the 16 columns and 2 rows, and that's why 16 2. So that's it. This is the LCD address and the type of LCD that we use. Now we start to trying to initialize our LCD. So we use the lcd.init initialize, and then the semicolon there. Oh, I forgot the semicolon here. And then after we initialize the LCD, initialize, so that is ready, the LCD for us to write data on it. And then we start to print the message, message to the LCD. So what kind of message that you want to print? Any message. I just show one example here because we just want to check. We just want to check how to see or how to display the data in the LCD. So basically, first thing first is we need to set the backlight for the LCD. The backlight for the LCD, so that it turn on the backlight first. If not, then it will not turn on the backlight if you don't include this. So therefore it will you can't see the message that is displayed on the LCD. And then we can use this lcd.setCursor, which basically we will set the cursor where the first character to print. So what does this mean here? 0 0 is mean, if we look at this, the 0 is basically this part here, 0 and 0. The first 0 is basically column. So the first 0 is column, the second 0 is row, meaning that when I said 0 0 is the 0 column and 0 row. Yeah. So if it is 5 0, so 5 column number 5 and the row 0. If 9 0, so column number 9 and row number 0. If 11 2, so column number 11 and 11 1, so the row number 1, the second line. So this is how it done. As you can see, is for the column number 4. So column number 4 and the row 0, and column number 4 and row 1. So this is what it does. So it will set the first value, which the first character to print the value. So now it is 0 0, meaning that the first column and first row, which we will print. So just LCD dot print. So as you can see, it's almost similar like before, serial dot print. If we want to print on the serial monitor, now we want to print on the LCD, we use LCD dot print, which the message that you want to use. For example, like this, I want to use hello everything. For example, it's up to you what kind of message that you want to add. And then we go to the next line, LCD dot set cursor again, to go to the next line. So next line, the first column is 0 again. So let's say I want to tap it a little bit, to make it print one column ahead. So which means I go to one column ahead and the row number 1 or row number 2 lah, the second row, yeah, which here I will write lcd.print what I want to read. Okay, let's say I just write this message here. So again, it's up to you what kind of message you want to add. It's up to you again. And yeah, that's it. That is the only code for writing information to the LCD. We don't go to the void loop yet because there is nothing yet that we want to repeat. I just want to just display once. So this is the basic coding. As usual, let's try to do this. Let's try to upload this coding. You can verify it first if you want to check your coding whether it is correct or not. So if you already connect your hardware, so you can check again your board type and then the COM ports again, as usual. And if you don't save it yet, save your sketch first. And now I just upload this coding to the Arduino, to my Arduino. So let's check whether it is correct or not. So now as you can see, it display just like what I want it to display. So now you'll see here, the second row here, it is not display on the first column, but it goes one column ahead, so that this message, the second lines of message here were like a centered, it is like a centered display, not on the right side, not on the left side here. So you can have a good message here, a nice display message here. And this is how you basically use this I2C display here. See, it's not that hard. What you need to add is just this hash include liquid crystal I2C.h, and then this part here, and then you need to initialize and set the backlight, and also use this coding here to set the location of where you want to write it, and also here is for the message lcd.print. That's it. So let's say if nothing appear on your LCD, so basically you can just adjust. If you look at this part here, you can see this potentiometer here. So basically you can just turn this potentiometer here into the desired contrast that you want. So basically, for example, like this one here, I just show you one. So when I turn this around, so it will, so as you can see, it start to become more and more contrast here, and I can read it. But when I turn in on the other direction, now I can't, there is nothing displayed there because the contrast level is too low. So we can increase the contrast level again until the desired amount that we want, just enough so that we can read the informations there. So that's it. So this is if nothing appear on your LCD, if every connection is already correct. And also you can also see here, this part here has jumper here, which actually will control your backlight. So if you remove this, if let's say your backlight nothing the backlight is too dim, is because of this thing might maybe is detached from this part here. So you might need to find it again and attach it again here, so that it can turn on the backlight for this LCD. These are the two things that you can check if your LCD is not functioning, especially if everything is correct, if every connection is correct. If you use the scan coding that I showed previously, it can detect the address, meaning that everything is correct, but somehow it cannot work. So you can check these two things here and try to adjust it so that you can get the display again. So that's it. If you use the Proteus, so as usual, just basically just import or just export the compile binary, or just copy and paste the hex file into this Arduino IDE here, into this Arduino here, and you can run this Proteus. So you should get the same results. So let's say I try to run this. So let's try to run this. Okay, run. So again, we should get the same results if your connection is correct. But for those who use this Tinkercad here, you can't use this coding here because you don't use the I2C module. So what you can do is basically, if you look at these two coding here, I just show this coding for you. I did not write it again from the beginning. So the difference here is, instead of you include the liquid crystal underscore I2C.h, you just use the liquid crystal.h. So instead of you tell the address and the what kind of LCD here, but here you need to tell which port you use for your LCD. So for example, like this, it use 12 is basically the RS, so it start with the RS, and then the enable, so enable is pin 11, so enable is pin 11, and then for data bus here, from the pin 2 until pin 5. So again, if you want to have 8 bits of data, so this part here will have 8 points here lah, and depending on the how many bits you want to use, and depending on how many ports you use, so you change, or depending also which ports you use. So again, if you use different ports, so the value here will be depending on the ports you use. So again, this, the first value is for the RS, the second value is for the enable, and the others here is for the data. So this is what you need to do if you use this kind of configuration. And then instead of you use the LCD init and LCD.backlight, so you use this codes here, LCD begin 16 to 2, so meaning that you tell it is a 16 times 2 LCD in the board setup, not in this part here. And the others is the same. For the printing part is the same, nothing different. Both are the same, and therefore if you are using this connection, you follow this coding here, and you can try to run your code in this Tinkercad here, so you should get the same results. Whichever methods you use, again, you can get the same results. Just make sure you use the correct library and you use the correct ways to define the ports and define the pins that you use for the LCD display. That's it. And after that, all the coding after that is the same, meaning that the next video you can follow 100% although you use this kind of configuration, because the other coding is the same. Just remember that you need to use this parts here for your configuration, for your coding. So again, this is the only information for this time around, I think. I think this is already a very long video. Hopefully you understand, hopefully you don't lose with my information here. Any problem, any questions, as usual, don't be shy to ask me. Make sure you ask me, and anywhere that you want to ask, including you can also comment down below. And as usual, if you like this video, feel free to give a thumbs up to this video, not physically again. Make sure you thumbs up down below with the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to this video if you like it, or ask someone else to subscribe again as well. So that's it. I think that's it for this time around. Hopefully you learn something, hopefully you enjoy learning from me, and as usual, hopefully you learn inventing these stuffs. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm Ikhwan. May God bless you. Assalamualaikum.